let's take a look at how to configure our outputs on our Graphite system. So we want to jump into our dashboard control system. So from the virtual panel, I can use the menu navigation to go ahead and jump to the configuration menu. Now that we're inside of the configuration menu, I can select my outputs. The first column is a column for the outputs that leave the switcher subsystem and go to the expression clip store or video input section. With the expression multi-channel version, you get access to all 2 inputs. With the standard Graphite edition or Studio single channel edition, you have access to a single input. Note that a single input, though, can be either fill only or fill in alpha. So here, there are 2 inputs destinations: expression in one video and expression in one alpha. Now the input allows us the opportunity to send it video and alpha if I wanted to send up a composited video and alpha pair. These can then be brought inside of expression to be composited within expression and used as an input that has already been composited with video and alpha. In the case of just recalling or recording a video file without alpha, I don't need to assign anything to the alpha channel. By default, these are assigned as aux buses. So here we've configured them for aux 11, aux 12, 13, and 14. At any time, this can be selected by simply clicking on the button and selecting from the I/O table list. And here, anything video-wise can be sent up, any internal bus as well as any external input. Also, the virtual aux buses can be assigned so that on-the-fly selections can be made from dashboard as well as from external aux bus panels without the need for going into the configuration of the production switcher. So now that we understand the video elements on the left, on the right hand side what we have is our audio mix. The audio mix can be derived from the audio mixer as well as directly from the source. So in this case, we have it set to pass through so that the video that was being assigned on aux 11 will provide the audio that's coming from that video bus or that SDI bus. In this case, if I was passing through an external video input, it will record the audio that is embedded in the SDI stream. Now, if instead of pass-through, I could record and send up all mixes, which will give me the main stereo mix in channels 1 and 2. It'll give me aux 1 mix in 3 and 4, aux 2 mix in 5 and 6, aux 3 mix in 7 and 8, and the monitor audio mix in 9 and 10. Or you can select only one of the other mixes to be provided on the stereo pair for 1 and 2. So in this instance, we would be sending up aux mix 2 as the associated audio that is embedded into the path going into the expression clip channel. This would allow the defining via the aux 2 mix of the audio to be recorded along with whatever video was now selected on aux bus 1 or aux bus 11. For now, we'll leave that at pass-through. Moving to the middle column, these are the physical outputs coming off of the Graphite card. There are 6 SDI outputs and 2 HDMI outputs. In the full 13-in 8 output Graphite edition, you have access to configure all 8 outputs independent of one another. When operating in a system licensed for 4 inputs or 8 inputs, only 2 independent configurations can be made for output 1 and 2, that outputs 3 through 6 and HDMI 1 and 2 can then select. So whatever is selected on output 1 and 2, output 3, 4, 5, and 6 would be allowed to select either of those to feed out of their outputs. In addition to that, output 5 can always select multi-viewer 1, output 6 can always select multi-viewer 2, and the HDMI outputs can also always be multi-viewer 1 or multi-viewer 2. Here, with the full version, all 13 inputs, all 8 outputs, any of the video inputs or video buses or aux buses or mini MEs can be assigned to any output. HDMI 2 also will always only be able to select multi-viewer 2. HDMI 1 can be any buses or multi-viewer 1. Output 5 can be any bus, any input, or multi-viewer 1, while output 6 is able to be any source, any bus, or multi-viewer 2. There is no audio that is carried on the HDMI outputs, and the audio selections for all of your other outputs are the same as what we saw with sending audio up to the expression. The difference being is that output 4 is used to send the embedded audio to the Rave audio breakout unit. So the Rave audio breakout unit gets all of its audio sent up to it using output 4 and passing it through the unit. Similarly, the analog audio inputs come in through the Rave unit and are then embedded on it and passed down to input 12. If I have a source for input 12, I must plug it into that box first, then bring it down. With output 4 always being locked to all mixes, this now gives us the opportunity to configure those outputs as well. Output 4 comes up into the audio breakout unit, and now all the mixes are passed up to it. All 5 analog outputs can be assigned anything I want. So by selecting on it, I get a grid of my available audio. All aux mix and main mixes and monitor mixes are available. You have the left channel, you have the right channel, and you can also send out a summed mono. The AES output, because AES has technically a stereo pair, then we always put the stereo left into 1, right into 2, and it has it available to select either the main aux 1, 2, 3 or the monitor. The final audio element has to do with the PC audio. PC audio driver for the Rave system and Graphite is built directly into the Windows audio section. Inside of there is a output device for the ROS Graphite system, and there is an input device. Here in this output configuration, this selector is defining what audio mix is being sent back up into the PC. This can then be assigned to any of the PC audio connectors on the back or used within applications such as Skype or Windows Media Player. Send my monitor output, I select monitor, and now I could assign that on the PC out the PC audio spigot and plug a set of headphones or speakers directly into the Graphite PC as opposed to having to use any of my analog audios for monitoring purposes that are on the Rave audio breakout. This is the section on configuring our outputs. Tied in with outputs is on-air behavior. So when we look at the on-air system, what we also have here is the ability to define which MEs or outputs are always on air. In the case of using a on-set monitor or an iMag screen, I might have one of the outputs, such as output 2, configured for a mini-ME to be feeding a screen that is out in the iMag area. In the on-air section, I could flag this as always on air. This way, any source that is selected in the mini-ME would also get the same tally information as if it was on air. So when we go ahead and look at the whole system, we can see that by switching over to a mini-ME now, the program bus is considered live. If we selected camera 4 in preset, in the multi-viewer, camera 4 would have been notified with the green tally in the lower left. When that gets transitioned to its background bus, it's noted that camera 4 is now being tallied red. So this allows us the flexibility of being able to leverage the same tally structure in the system and notifying where things are being used without having to set up multiple rules. We can simply just enable these buses as being always on air. Similar thing to an onset monitor, I could have an aux bus that is being sent as the source to an onset monitor. So if that was enabled, now when aux bus 1 is selected, everything inside of aux bus 1 is going to tally red. If there's any questions about this tutorial, or if you have other tutorials that you'd like to see that aren't available, please send those to switchers@rossvideo.com and we'll make sure to get back to you as soon as we can. All right, well, thanks for watching and have a great day.